Hey everybody. I wanted to take a few minutes to go over the review handout for the drama and poetry exam. So that is one of the items that you are assigned for this week. Remember that the drama and poetry exam is worth 25% of your overall grade. So if you have not thoroughly gone through the lessons for the last few weeks, you might want to really go through this review and make sure that you are familiar with all of the material before you attempt the exam. Because 25%, that's a hefty portion of your grade. Okay? So, the exam itself, it's 100 points total. There are 20 questions. The questions range anywhere from 1 point to 7 points apiece. There are some fill in the blanks, there are some multiple choice, there's some matching, and then there's some written responses as well. Okay, so looking at the review handout, we started with drama. And in week 1, we covered, intro to drama. We learned about some terms and concepts, and then you read the one-act play, Trifles. And you had an assignment answering some questions about that. And then in week 2, I offered a follow-up video to that play. If you have not gone over that material very well, you will want to. So for drama, first thing you want to make sure that you're familiar with, according to chapter 28, what are the 3 things you should do while reading a play? Obviously going through chapters 20 through 30 will help you. This information is on the PowerPoint though as well, right? I cover this in the PowerPoint and in the video that goes along with the PowerPoint. So what are the 3 things you should do while reading a play? And then define the following: proscenium, apron, upstage, downstage, and flats. What are the defining characteristics of theater in the round? What does each stage of dramatic structure entail? We have point of attack, exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, denouement, right? Those are the 6 stages of dramatic structure. What does each stage entail? What happens in each of those stages? Define the following: protagonist and antagonist. Define the following: classical tragic hero versus modern tragic hero. Who wrote the play Trifles? Who wrote it? Review the general plot of Trifles. Make sure you understand and remember what the general plot was of that play. Explain the significance of the title Trifles. And then describe your reaction to the decision made by Mrs. Peters and Mrs. Hale to hide the dead bird from the mill. Did they do the right thing? Explain your answer with a thorough response. That question might sound familiar. So use the PowerPoint in the video in week 1 where I cover those chapters on drama. Use your own reading of the play Trifles, the homework assignment that you completed, and then my follow-up video, right? Make sure you go through those things if you are unsure of any of these items in drama, right? And then we moved on to poetry, right, in weeks 2 and 3. So define the following: persona and tone. Review what we learned about the persona in each of the following poems: My Last Duchess, Porphyria's Lover, and Siren Song. Review what we learned about the tone in each of the following poems: My Papa's Waltz, Those Winter Sundays, and Barbie Doll. So, in the PowerPoints in week 2 and in your assignment, we covered those 6 poems. So go back through that material. Define the following: connotation, denotation, simile, metaphor, personification, imagery, and symbol. Okay? And then, what is the underlying theme of Dulce et Decorum Est, and how do the images and similes and metaphors reveal that theme? What is the underlying theme of What Lips My Lips Have Kissed, and how do the images and metaphors reveal that theme? So this is why it's important, if you haven't yet, to make sure that you go back through those PowerPoints, and then today, or this week, my follow-up video on those two poems, Dulce et Decorum Est and What Lips My Lips Have Kissed. So if you feel confident, that you could answer questions and discuss all the items on this review sheet, then you're probably ready to take the exam. If there's any of this that I just went through that made you question yourself or question me, like, what is she talking about? Then that might be a good indicator that you need to go back through those lessons in weeks 1 through 3. Any PowerPoints, take a look back at your assignments, and watch my videos. And don't skip the videos that are posted here in week 4 as well. Alright, so again, remember, 20 questions, 100 points total. There's a variety of types of questions, matching, fill in the blank, multiple choice, written response, and that the exam is worth 25% of your grade. Now, obviously, the better you do on it, the better your overall grade will be. If you don't do well on it, there will be a chance to bring the score back up. But if you can do well on it the first time around, then that's less time we have to spend trying to make corrections or find a way to bring your grade back up. So that's why, other than the exam, you only have the journal and the discussion for this week. There's very little material in terms of lessons. The only thing you really need to do now that you've watched this video is, if you haven't yet, watch the follow-up video right above this on Dulce et Decorum Est and What Lips My Lips Have Kissed. So hopefully you have more than enough time to review all of this material and take the exam and do well on it the first time around, and then we just move forward. Don't even have to think about it after that. Alright? But it is worth a good percentage of your grade, but I don't want anyone to have a lot of anxiety if you're afraid you're not going to do well. First of all, if you're afraid you're not going to do well, review. Prepare yourself. And then there will be a chance to make up some of the points. Okay? But again, if you do well the first time around, we don't have to worry about it. If you have any questions about any of the material on this review, any questions you have before you get started on the exam, reach out to me. If you run into any technical problems, reach out to me as well right away. It'll say that there's a time limit, but it's not going to cut you off. So just do your best on it, and I think you guys will do just fine.